All right, I think we are ready to go. Hello, hello. Make sure that everything is working correctly. Check, check, 1, 2. Check, check, 1, 2. Waiting for a good signal. Hello, hello. Make sure that everything is working. Good. All right, so let's go ahead and continue. I'm going to go ahead and close down this page. And let's go ahead and just start. Let's just launch right in. So what I need to do is I need to close down OBS, and in this second, so this is the second set of 3 hours, the second third, so to speak, or third or quarter, depending on how much I'm able to get done today. So right now, I'm going to focus on making more tracks. Okay, so right, it's not tracks, it's making more word forms. So I think we're all set, ready to go. Let me just pull the stream up over on this side over here so that I can make sure that everything is a-okay, working as it should. Okay. There we go. Just pull the stream up over on this side. All right, so let's go ahead and get to work. Where were we? Suboptimal, that's right. We had just finished doing optimal and optimally, which was good because when I initially was looking at optimal, I was looking at optimum, and that has a different quality to it, and I was failing to realize that the TM was taking a large part of the form. So in this instance with suboptimal, all I need to do is to take sub, we do SU for, or just S for sub, add it to optum, so we go suboptimal, okay? So let's go ahead and see if I can do that correctly. Boom, boom, boom. All right, so this one would be suboptimal. Suboptimal. And the analogy, you can see the structuring. So we'll cut this, or actually, suboptimally. I think I want to do maybe a suboptimally as well. So I'm not going to cut it because I'm going to add to the structure. So I'm just going to copy for now. Go on over to Inkscape and paste the value. There we go. We apply the value and convert into sub. So this is suboptimal. And I don't think that is a suboptimal. I don't seem to remember that being a hyphenated word. I think that is an actual word, correct? Looking here. Container hunting. It is one word. Yeah, it's one word, suboptimal. I thought it was, I just wanted to confirm. So this is suboptimal. Okay? And then the next one that I need to do is I need to go back to the original structure, and I need to add an E to the end in order to convert it into suboptimally. Okay? And let's see if I can do it with, there we go. So we've just added the E to the end. We cut this and we paste it over here. And once again, if you are interested in looking at this website, there's a link in the description below this video, and you can go there, you can look at your words, you can do them in mirrored version like what I'm doing, or you can do them normal as well. Both options are available. Suboptimally. Okay. And yeah, it's just it's an excellent little website. It allows you to get better at your vocabulary because you're not really struggling with the theory. You're just getting as much exposure to the structures as you possibly can. Now, moving on to the next phrase, Y could. So Y could. All right. So let's grab this value, paste it over here, and we apply. Control-Shift-E. Cut the value, close without saving, go back over, and we do the next value, wanted. Wanted. So this one is a simple aunt, and then we simply make the tail longer. So wanted. Okay? Cut the value, paste it over here in Inkscape. We apply the change. We convert the raster image into a vector image, and we give it the title of wanted.svg. Okay? Close without saving. Now, before I forget, I want to add one more word to the end, and that is which should. Which should. I'm pretty sure that which should is not in the lineup if we search for it. Yep, which should is not in there. And so I want to go ahead and have that so that I'm at least thinking about it correctly. Because everything is running correctly. We have sound as we should. Everything is A-OK operational. So let's keep on going. We've done wanted, so that takes care of all of the names on this card, and that's one card down, all filled up. Let's go ahead and check this one. That fit is the next word that I want to add, or the next phrase. A lot of phrases now. That fit. So this is one of those, you remember that the F, that fit. Like that. Okay? Now, one thing that I do want to really pay attention to is to curve that F over quite a bit more. There we go. Looks weird, and to be honest, it is, but it gets the point across. That fit. Okay? In fact, I think that should be a little bit more of an angle. I'm going to go ahead and try that again and place everything closer to that 52-degree mark, the 52-degree structure. There we go. Nice, nice, nice. That fits. That should be passable. Let's go ahead and get rid of this guy, and let's put this one in its place. Turn it into a pathway. Export the pathway as a vector. That fit, and it should not be caps, it should be lowercase. That fit.svg. Okay, and we can then go ahead and close this document down and open up another one. We now do fill. Now fill is one where I wanted to change it to just the F. For and fill are the two words where they are marked by, they're marked by F. We apply the change, export the vector, fill, and it's going to scream at me because it's already in the files and I indeed want to replace it. So there's fill. And let's keep on going. Fill. Oh, and then filled. Filled was the other one. So we'll add that here. Filled. Copy. Copy the value. Paste it over here. Filled. We apply the change. And this is filled. Filled.svg. We can now get rid of the file. Go back over here to GIMP. We don't want to save another file. We want to deselect, or select all actually, Control-Shift-A. And now we want unpack. Now unpack requires the un at the beginning. There we go. Unpack. Wait, that would be unapack. This is unpack. Let's try it again. Unpack. And that's the structure. So let's go ahead and cut this value. And that's unpack. So then we paste it over here. Convert it into a pathway from raster image to vector. And then we convert it, or we export it as an SVG file. We close the value, go back over to GIMP, do our next value, which is going to be experienced. So experienced is SPE. I think it's actually S. Yes, SPE, and then the T, the disjointed T. SP disjointed T. Let me confirm that that is the case. We go over to the dictionary. Yep, SPE is experienced. So let's go ahead and cut the value here. And we paste it over here in Inkscape. We apply the change. We export the change, the pathway, as experienced. And we're good. So that was experienced. Good, good, good. Let's go ahead and close this file down. Open up another file. Cross out the next one is logistic. So this one was the interesting one because we go logistic, and then we also need logistical. So we grab this value, we cut it, and then we paste it. We apply the change. We then export the change as logistic. Logistic. We need to go back to GIMP, and we need to modify the value to go ahead and turn it into logistics by adding an S on the end. Okay, now it's logistics. Cut the value. Paste. Here we go. We apply the change. We export the change, and this is logistics. Okay. We cut the document, go back over here, and now we do logistical. Logistics, and now we do logistical. And let's go ahead and say, no, we don't want to save. We just need to add a K at the end. There we go. So now this is logistical. Cut the value, paste it, and we're good to go. We apply the change. Logistical. Okay. Close without saving. Move back over here. Move back over here to GIMP. Select everything. Next word. Only one. Only one. There we go. Okay. Add the value. We apply the change. we export the change. Only one.svg. Close without saving. Go back over to GIMP. Select everything. Soon after. Here we go. There's soon after. Cut, paste, map, or path, export, soon after.svg, close, repeat. To put it, this is to put it, to put it. Cut, paste, path, export. To put it. Close, repeat. Select all. Usual way. So this is usual. Cut, paste, path, export. Usual way.svg. And these forms and phrases were the result of working through the book Sonke by Sonke Ahrens, How to Take Smart Notes. And these are just phrases that I have come across in the course of the book and therefore want to add to the dictionary. So we have infrastructure. Infra. There we go. Infra, and then it does go down. It's a regular S. It's an S after an R, which means it curves away from the line of writing. So this is infra like this, and then T, structure like that. So let's go ahead and clean this up a little bit. Let's make it a little smoother. So we have structure. Let's do it again. Infrastructure. Grab the value, cut, paste, rinse and repeat. Infrastructure. We apply. Man, that looks jagged. Let's see if I can do that a little bit more smoothly. Infrastructure might take like 3 or 4 times to get it in the hand, because what it is you have to be able to do it. There we go. That's more like it. You have to be able to make the stroke almost well, not almost. You have to make the stroke in one thought. And what happens is that causes an execution of the strokes in a way that's much more fluid. Infrastructure. Okay. We can now cut the value, close without saving. We go back over to GIMP, create our next form. Next form is by what? And here we go. By what? There we go. Cut, paste, path export by what? .svg, close. Back over to GIMP. To bring is the next one. So this, we're going to use the same analogy as to be by just simply doing a T. To bring, like that. Make it just a little bit better. So make the curve of the T a little bit more shallow of an angle. To bring. Okay. We cut the value. We paste it. We export, or we path. Export path to bring.svg. Close document. Go back over to GIMP. Select all. Go to save so we don't have too much in the buffer. To bring, and then we do leash. Leash is a word that was not in the dictionary. And that's a very simple one, right? That's just leash, like so. That might also be lesion, although lesion, in fact, I would be, I'm interested now, I want to take a look at lesion to see if that is in the, dictionary or not. So this is leash. Close the document down, close without saving. And the next one's going to be unleash. So let's go ahead and undo the change, except select all, and I simply want to add an in to the front. There we go. I cut the value, I paste the value, I path the value, or the form, path the form, export the form. Unleash.svg. Okay, close without saving. And we go back over to GIMP. Now before we do the next word, I want to go to the dictionary and I want to search for lesion. Ah, interesting. So you see lesion and leash are the same word. Very nice. Lesion and leash are the same word. Okay. Very nice. So let's now go ahead and get rid of leash and unleashed. Self-reinforcing is the next one. And self-reinforcing is going to be self reinforce. Self-reinforcing. Self-reinforcing. Straighten it up here. Reinforcing. Because anytime we have a self at the beginning of a stroke, right? So let's check. Self, self-love. Yep, all of those is the S is above. It's before the line. Very nice. So let's go ahead and, oh, that's why we wouldn't do sub if we could help it. So let's try. So this is self. Try it again, self. Reinforcing. Let's straighten up the S a little bit. Self. Reinforcing. Don't forget the little dot. We select the stroke. We cut the stroke. We paste the stroke. And we apply the change. we pathed it, and so now we export self self-reinforcing .svg, close down the document, close without saving, and we go back over here to GIMP, do our next one, which made. So this one's a pretty easy stroke. We go which made, like that, okay? There's which made. Cut the value, paste the value, path the value, export. Which made.svg, cut the value, or close the document really. And we now go back over to GIMP, save the document, last three, and so on. And so on. This is the weird one. This is where we were going to go and so on, like that. So we go and so on. Okay. Cut the value, paste, path, export, and so on. .svg, close document, back to GIMP. Next one is findings. Findings is fun because we get to do, it's the use of the disjointed S at the end. That's findings. And then if we turn it this way, that's findings. And we found out that that's the ending by going over to the dictionary. And if I type in ings, then you'll see, oh, and I have the S in the wrong direction. So you see how in all of these examples, the S is curved the opposite direction. And having the S curved the opposite direction allows you to show the ings ending, okay? Especially in brief forms. So let's go back over here. We get rid of that, and we will curve it the other way. Like so, okay? We then cut the value. We paste the value. We path the word findings, and we export the word findings. And findings. There we go. Cut that value, close without saving, and we have one more word, which is very nice. Okay? Which should. The next word is which should. So this one's interesting because in order to do it justice, I think we're going to have to do probably a little bit of like which should. If we change the angle a little bit, which should. The other option is to go long like that, because there's no stroke that does this. And so if I do a long stroke, that's the word which, and then I have should, and then we have the D, then that's which should. All right? Oh, and we want to undo and select the whole page. So here we go. This is which should. Okay? That should work. Because which did, what would which did be? It would be slightly, which did, it would be shorter. And did is also more this angle. So if you change the angle, which did, but I think the context of the word itself would also help you. So this one is going to be which should. Apply the phraseology, and we export the pathway. Which should. There we go. Close the file down, close without saving, and we're set, ready to go. So let's go ahead and close. I need to close Inkscape and I need to close GIMP, and we're going to open up Zernal. So let's go down here to Zernal, and I need to go over to OBS and open up the new document. There we go. So we have our word finding. Actually, this one is the one we need. Minimize the. This one should always be on top so we can see it. Okay, and what else do we need? All right, I'm gonna go get a little water, and we should be ready to go. Well, let me change the screen. Gregg website. Let's go ahead and do Zernal. Open selector. Application window. This is our Zernal page. Share. Hit OK. And then, well, I need to fix that. Fix the camera. It goes bright again. Let's grab the exposure. Drop the exposure. There we go. Well. Ha. Okay. All right. I can live with that. I know it's a little darker, but it's okay. It's okay. All right. Let's see. I have the page pulled up. I need to make sure that I have Gregg on the correct selection as well. This is Gregg Shorthand Lookup. We're going to share that. Okay, I think we're ready. I'll be right back. Okay. Now let's go ahead and continue on with our work. So I think everything, yes, sound is working well. Let's confirm that that it's working over on this end. Give it just a chance to load up. Minimize OBS. Okay. Now let's go ahead. All right. So just checked. There's no latency. We're set. So here we go. Where were we? We were on exceptional and write an excerpt. So we had just finished the paragraph. Now we're going on. Working like this will leave you with a lot of different notes. So let me go ahead and move this over here. Grab the pen. There we go. Working like this. Let's go ahead and position the screen correctly. Working like this will leave you with a lot of different notes. Working like this will leave, there's leave. Oh wait, no, that leave is L-I-V. Will leave you with a lot of different notes in many different places. In many different places. Yeah, drops down, goes in the opposite direction, with many different places. Writing then will mean writing then. So we go writing then will mean relying heavily. So let's go ahead and look up relying. I can't quite remember what that stroke's supposed to be, so let's go ahead and check it. Rely. There's rely. Top one. There we go. Relying will mean relying. Writing then will mean relying heavily. So heavily is heavily. Double L at the end. Let's confirm that that is the case. Oh, interesting. Heavy? Well, what's heavy then? Heavily. Why would you just turn that into a loop? That doesn't make sense. You should put another L on the end. Heavy, heavily. Heavily. Yeah, you add another L. So if you do it on the back side, similar to the way you do it with the R on real and really, this should be the same. I'm going to say it's the same. So I'm going to modify that word so that it's more in line with the overall structure. So we're going to do heavily, okay? And heavily is going to be a double jointed, so it's like really. What was the other one that was that had the double L? We've had 2 or 3 of them now, so it's a good paradigm. I like it, so I'm going to modify the dictionary. Okay, let's see here. Heavily. Writing then will mean relying heavily on your brain. On your brain. To remember where. And remember is R, and then just a long M-in stroke. Like that. Does that remember? See here. Yep, that is remember. Oh, it's an RE. RE and then the long stroke. So here we go. This is RE, long stroke, 3. 3 strokes probably. That looks about right. I mean relying heavily on your brain to remember where and when these notes were written down. Where and when, where and when these notes were written down. Period. Yes. And then it says, text must then be conceptualized. A text must then be conceptualized. And I'm pretty, that was one that I added yesterday. Didn't I add conceptualize? Misconception, preconception, conceptualize. Have I not pushed? Oh, I forgot to push these words up. That's one thing. Did I? CD projects, Gregg, and I did not push the changes. There we go. So now it's going to be a little glitchy for a little second. Okay, I think it's back to normal. It's back to normal, so that's conceptual. Now, I thought I had done conceptualize. I'm pretty sure I did. I guess not. So, I will, I'll add it to the list. So, we have to do concept. Where's our phraseology? There we go. So, we take concept and then eyes. Conceptualize. IZE. Conceptualize. How do they do conceptualize? Itemize, realize, oxidize. Oh, it was digitize. That's what it was. Yes. Vaporize, conceptize. See, the problem with is if it's concept, concept. So the first thing I need to do is to do conceptual. 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 Misconception, conceptual. I think if I just add an L to the end for conceptual, and then I do eyes. So let's try that one. If I do concept, I do conceptual. So this would be conceptual. So I'll need to add that to the list. So this is conceptual. Conceptual and then eyes. That's conceptualize. And then conceptualized, you just add a T on the end. Okay, so in our lineup, I already have 3 more words. So I have conceptual, and then I have conceptualize, and then I have conceptualized. There we go. 3 more. Okay. That looks about right. Conceptualized. Okay. Let's go ahead and save the document. And what is that? Conceptualized. A text must then be conceptualized independently from these notes. So we remember independent and then ly. Independently. So let's go ahead and do this here and then drop the P just a little bit more extreme, like that. Independently must be conceptualized independently from these notes, from these notes, comma, which, and then here's where it explains. I know I've done this before, but let's go ahead and check on that. Explain, yeah. Which explains there's explains, which explains why so many resort to brainstorming, which explains why so many resort, and this is resort. That's not resort. There it should be a disjointed, right? See here. Yep, it has to be disjointed, otherwise it just looks like rot. So we have to do resort. Why so many resort to brainstorming. Brainstorm. Let's put this over here. Grab this value. Brain. Can we move this up just a little higher? Brain. Storming. Why so many resort to brainstorming. That doesn't look quite right. I think, didn't I add brainstorming? I did. Yeah. I mean, I don't really see there is no other way that that could be misconstrued. Like, you can't even turn that into an O. You could turn it into an SH, but then it would be brainstorming. Yeah, because the other way you could do it is if you have your S going in the opposite direction. And I've seen that more often than not, I think. And that one would look like, this is one we just did yesterday, but brain storming. But there too, this looks like a U. Brain ming. Would it though? Because this would be here, boom. Because that curves in under, so if this is here, nah, I think we'll leave it that way because it's either an S or an SH, and either way, it works. It gets the point across. So I'm happy with that. So this is brainstorming. To arrange the resources, brainstorming to arrange the resources. and we're looking for resources. So R-O, here we go. R-O-S, and then it curves back in on itself. I'm going to go ahead and add that to the lineup just because that one is a little counterintuitive as far as needing to do the backwards stroke. So I'll add that in after the fact. That's resources. Okay, next is what? To arrange the resources afterwards. I know I've done after, so this is after words. You just add it, you tack it on to the end after words, like that. Check that and make sure that that's the case. Afterward. Oh, blast it. Okay, so all they do is they just do a long stroke. Okay. So we just have it like this. Brainstorm resources afterwards according to this preconceived idea. According to this preconceived idea. According to this, and then check for preconceived. There's preconceived. Preconceived. So conceived. According to this preconceived idea. In this textual infrastructure, let me check and see if I have textual. Okay, so they want this is where it's different. So you do the textual. Textual. There you go. In this textual infrastructure, go ahead, save the file. Move on down to the next line. In this textual infrastructure, here we go, come on, infrastructure, so infrastructure. In this textual infrastructure, this so often taught workflow, this so often taught workflow. By the way, this is the one that I learned in school as well, so he's dead on. Workflow. Oh, so often taught workflow. Where's that? This so often taught workflow. In this textual infrastructure, this so often taught workflow, it indeed does not make. In this textual infrastructure, this so often taught workflow. Oh, it's a parenthetical expression. That's what it is. This so often taught workflow. It indeed does not make much sense. It indeed does not. Let's see, does not make much sense. to what? Does not make much sense. To rewrite these notes and put them into a box. It does not make much sense to rewrite these notes, and put them into a box, only to take them out again later. Only to take, to take them out later. Let's see. Yes. Yeah, I remember it's got the line underneath. To take them out later. To do what? To take them out later when a certain quote or reference, when a certain quote or reference is needed during writing and thinking. During writing and thinking. Okay. Let me check and see if that is during. Oh, during is just DR. It's not even, there's no need for the dot at the end or anything. It's already its own brief form. During writing and thinking. In the old system, okay, so that was the end of the paragraph, so let's go ahead and go back and review the information. There it is. Well, that is way too far back. We need something a little bit more recent. Working like this. It was a phrase where we started with working like this. Let's look for working. And it looks like I probably forgot to drop another dot or another paragraph marker. So I'm looking for working. Working. Looking. There's writing. Arriving, working, many students working like this will leave you with a lot of different notes. That's so called, so often taught. Is it even earlier? No, because this paragraph here marks the many students, and that one, the end, is business. So let's look for business, which is BS. How true. Let's see, business. Looking for business here, because I can see we just did this note at this point, and this was already in many different heavily. Okay, that's relying heavily. Okay, we're getting close. There is working. Let's shift this value over. So we're going to put a paragraph marker here, and we drop another dot to show that this is the beginning of a new paragraph. Okay, so working Working like this will leave you with a lot of different, let's go do our little laser pointer, with a lot of different notes in many different places. Writing then, writing then leams? No, will mean. That's will mean, yeah. Writing then will mean relying heavily on your brain to remember where and when these notes were written down. When and where these notes were written down. A text must then be conceptualized and independently from these notes. It which explains. Is that explains? Yes. Which explains why so many resort to brainstorming. And that should be parenthesized. Let's grab this one, boom, put it over here, to brainstorming. To arrange the resources. How did I get that? To arrange, there we go. The resources afterwards. Arriving, is that arriving? Oh, afterwards, according. Let's check and make sure that's correct. And that's accordingly. And according is just the dot at the end. So, okay. According to this preconceived, yes, this preconceived idea, at this, to this, no, in this textual, oh, that's, yeah, so I did that incorrectly. Go ahead and get rid of this. We have in this. In this textual, yeah, that's textual. Let me check and see if I have in this, because that would be a good one to have. In this, perfect, it's there. In this textual infrastructure, there we go. In this textual infrastructure, this so often taught workflow, it indeed, is that indeed? It indeed, yep, that is indeed. It indeed does not make much sense to rewrite these notes and put them into a box, only to take them out later when When a when a what? When a certain quote? Yep, I think that is certain. Let me check. Yep, that's it. When a certain quote or reference is needed during writing and thinking. All right, good. So that's one paragraph down, and now carrying on. Next. In the old system, in the old, right? That goes up like that. In the old, whoop, come on. In the old system, the question is, under which topic do I store this note? Under which topic do I store this note? Under which topic do I store this note? In the new system, the question is, in the new system, the question is, in which context will I want to stumble upon it again? Ooh, that's good. In which context will I want to stumble, S-T-M-B, I think that's stumble probably, right? Oh, S-T-M, oh, interesting, you don't, so there's no curve there. Okay, that doesn't make sense. Why is stumble S-T-M, T-M? There shouldn't be a break. What other word is there? Steep, stump, steep. Stenble, stenble. Sdun, zdanble, zdamba. Stump, stump. Nope. Stump would have a shorter B. Interesting. I don't know why. But once again, you just never know exactly what was going on in the decision-making process over at Gregg headquarters. There probably were like 2 or 3 different theories, each with more and more exactness. But here we go. So this is stumble. In what context, I love this idea, in which context will I want to stumble upon it again? Talking about the idea. And upon, ooh, I remember that. Hey, look at that. Upon, will I want to stumble upon it, and then again. AGN. Question mark. Most students sort their material by topic. Most students sort their material by topic. Most students sort their material, and material is here. Oh, a slight E and then the L. So you have to have the E at the top, circle around. There we go. We'll sort their material by what? We'll sort their material by topic. Or even, or even, that's a nice one. Or even. Reven? Reven? I like that. Let's go ahead and add that to the lineup. Or even. Oh, let's see here. Or even by seminar and semester. Or even by seminar. Remember seminar. Or now semester is one I haven't done before. Semester. There we go. Semester. Now it's just one, so it only should be the length of 2 or semester. There we go. Semester. By seminar or semester. From the perspective of someone who writes, from the, and that actually can be one phrase, right? From the perspective. I know I did perspective. It's PRSP disjointed V. Let's see if that's right. From the PRSP disjointed V. Let's see if that's correct. Perspective. Hey, hey. Whoop, 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 whoop. Yeah, little wins, little wins, little wins. Okay. The perspective. From the perspective of someone who writes. From the perspective of someone who writes from the perspective of someone who writes, that makes as much sense. That makes as much sense as much sense as sorting your errands, sorting your, and let's search for errands. Errands. By purchase date and the store they were bought from. That is really funny. By purchase date. So purchase is going to need to be, it's probably this. PR, let's see if that's correct. Yes, and doesn't even need an S at the end. By purchase date and the store they were bought from, and the store they were bought from. Let's check bought to see if that's correct. And that's correct. Good, good. They were bought from. Oh, that's funny. Oh, he's got a good sense of humor. Can't find your trousers? Can't find your trousers? Hold on, let's see. How do you spell trousers? There it is. Hey, oh, that's almost right. Okay. Can't find your... Interesting, so it curves over more. Can't find your trousers? Maybe they are with the bleach. Oh, oh man. Maybe they are... Maybe they are with the... Maybe they are with the bleach you bought the same day. That is very funny. Oh, I had never really thought of notes in that way. Like items that you bring home from a store. Can't find your trousers? Maybe they are with the bleach you bought the same day at the department store. Okay. Oh, this is funny. Maybe they are with the bleach. With the bleach. Let me check and see if I added bleach to the lineup as well. Bleach is not in there. Okay, we'll add bleach later. Oh man, that's funny. Maybe they are with the bleach you bought the same day at your department store. Maybe they are with the bleach you bought the same day at your, and then check department. Department. Oh, well that makes sense, yeah. It's de, and then part, meant, store. Oh man, that's so good. Okay, now let's go ahead and go back through and check all the old phrases. So where was the last paragraph? In the old system, that's brainstorming. So we have, it must be here, the so-called is needed during writing and thinking. And I almost did it again. Now, one thing I do wonder is if I accidentally forgot or like I did an undo, and it's possible that that's why it goes away, but it doesn't matter. In the old system, the question is, under which topic do I store this this note? This note. In the new system, the question is, in which context will I want to stumble upon it again? Most students sort their material by topic. By topic. or even by seminar or semester. This is a perspective. From the perspective of someone, so, I lost the whole thing. So from the perspective, here we go. From the perspective of someone who writes, that makes as much sense as sorting your errands by purchase date and the store that and the store they, so let's go ahead and break this down a little bit more. They were bought. They were bought from. Can't find your trousers? Maybe they are with the bleach you bought. Maybe they are with the bleach you bought the same day at your department store. I love it. What a zinger. What a zinger. Okay. Very nice. Oh. Hi. Going on, next paragraph. The slip box is the shipping container of the academic world. Nice phrase. Very nice phrase. I can tell he really likes this idea. Okay, here we go. It's a new paragraph. The slip box is the shipping container of the academic world. Let's see if we can get that straightened out just a little bit. There we go. Of the academic world. Need to add another page below. This is going to be page 5. Okay. Page 5. Of the academic world. Instead of having different storage for different ideas, instead of having different storage for different ideas, everything goes into the same slip box. Everything goes into the same. Keep on missing those. Like, everything goes into the same slip box and is standardized into the same format. That's also really nice. and is and is added to the dictionary? No. Standardized. Standardized. Let's see. How do you do standardized? There it is. And is standardized. That's about it. So we'll just keep on working on it. So standardized. Standardization. Standardized. Let's try it one more time. Standardized into the same format. Okay. The same format. Instead of focusing on the in-between steps, instead of focusing on the in between, is that it? I'm pretty sure that it has to be a tween, right? So let's look up between. Nope, nope, I was right. That's between. The in between, instead of focusing on the in between steps, on the in between steps, and trying to make a science out of underlining systems, and trying to make a science out of actually that's one that would work well together. Out of, yeah. Do I have that one? Out of the question. Well, that's interesting. Well, that would make sense. Well, let's go ahead and add out of. Trying to make a science out of, what was that? And trying to make a science out of underlining systems, a science out of underlining systems, reading techniques, reading or excerpt writing, I don't think that's excerpt. ESEP. Yeah. That is exceptional, isn't it? Or no, that's especially. This is excerpt. Of excerpt writing. Everything is streamlined towards one thing only. Insight that can be published. Man, oh, that is just music to my heart. I love that. Stream. That's correct. Streamline. Yes. Okay. That's it. So let's go do streamline, and I think I am going to do the disjointed. Streamlined towards one thing only. Towards. I haven't used towards in a while. That's interesting. Toward. Yeah. Breaks up the flow, puts a little hook. Towards one thing only. Insight that can be published. Was it that? Let's see here. It's just PB that can be published, and then yep, PB, and then the disjointed T for published. Nice. Okay, that's another paragraph down. So let's go ahead and check it over. Let's go back to the beginning, the first sign of the paragraph, which was down here. Right. There it is. The slip box. Stretch my legs out for a little bit. There we go. This floor desk sitting works really well, but sometimes the knees get a little tired. Here we go. The slip box is the... Here we go. The slip box is the shipping container of the academic world. Is the shipping container of the academic world. Instead of having different storage for different ideas, having everything goes into the same slip box and is standardized into the same format instead of focusing on the in between steps and trying to make science out of underlining systems, reading techniques, or excerpt writing. Everything is streamlined towards one thing only. Insight that can be published. Nice. Okay. Oh, it's starting to get there. Slowly but surely. Okay. The biggest advantage compared to top-down storage The biggest advantage compared to a top-down storage system. So here's our next paragraph. The biggest, I think that's biggest, right? Let's check it. You do need the biggest. Yeah, we'll go ahead and add it. The biggest advantage, and that's advantage compared, so we go compared to a top-down storage system to a top-down compared, I think that's compared, right? No, there's no need for the A in the center. Okay, so let's do it this way. Compared to a top-down storage system. Organized by topic. Organized by topic is that the slip box is that the slip box becomes more and more valuable becomes more and more. More and more should be its own. This should be more and more. More and more. Yeah. More and more. I am going to add that because that would be a pretty nice. More and more. Oh, they already do it. They already do it. Momo. More and more is Momo. That's probably where I got the idea. More and more valuable the more it grows. Oh, by the way, advantage. Isn't advantage... Yep, advantage and valuable. So VLB. VLB is valuable. VLB. More and more valuable, the more it grows. The more it grows. Instead of getting messy and confusing. Instead of getting messy. Is messy even a word in the dictionary? No, it's not. Messy. M-S-E. Instead of getting messy. I'm going to add that to the lineup. And confusing. That's a word I haven't used before. Confused. There we go. Messy and confusing. Okay. Good. If you sort by topic, if you sort by topic, you are faced with a dilemma. You are faced with the dilemma you are faced with the dilemma, almost. Come on. There we go. You are faced with the dilemma of either adding more, of either adding more notes, more and more. Oh, there's another more and more, of adding more and more notes to one topic. Notes to one topic, which makes them increasingly hard to find. Which makes them increasingly. Search increasingly. There's increasingly. Okay, let's try it again. Increasingly hard to find or adding more and more topics or adding undo more and more topics. And subtopics. Subtopic. That's the one where we could add it to the beginning. That'd be self-topic. Hold on, let's see. Is subtopic an actual... Let's see if it's an actual phrase. It's not. Sub. Let's just look up topic then. Topic is the only thing that's coming up. Topic, topic, topical. So subtopic, what would that look like? Let's go back over to sub, and we would simply add the S. And it's an S which would go in that direction, so STP, and that makes it sub. All those different versions of missive, submissive, officer, sub-officer. Yeah. So you just add an S. Add an S and it makes it sub. Okay. Pretty nifty. Let's try that then. So topic and subtopic. So we just grab this guy, paste, and there we go. Let's go ahead and add that to the lineup. So we have subtopic. Okay. There's subtopic. Okay. And subtopic. Adding more and more topics and subtopics to it. All right. Which only shifts the mess to another level. Which only shifts. Shift. Okay, I can see the shape. Let's see if this is what it actually is. So shift. That almost looks right. I think that's probably shifts. Well, let's check. Where'd it go? There it is. Shift. It's not even in the lineup. Okay, so we'll add it. And that is correct. I just need to make sure that the SH is more in line with the F. So shift. Which shifts the, what are we doing now? Which only shifts the mess to another level, which only shifts the mess to another level. Let's see if that did it correctly. So this is level. Okay. To another. Yep, there's to another. And do we have... That's messers, so I do need to go ahead and do mess. I need to add mess. Shifts, and let's look up level. There's level. Good. Which only shifts the mess to another level. All right. Save. And now what? The first system is designed to find things you deliberately search for. The first system is that designed? Yes, I think, didn't I work on that? I did that one just this morning. No, that's right. This one flips around. The S flips around in this instance. Is designed oh, and you just continue up the stroke. Okay. Is designed to find things you deliberately search for. Is designed to find things you deliberately. Oh, I know I did deliberately. I just can't remember what it is. Let's try first find. Gap find is that. To find things you and then deliberately. Okay, just D-L-E-B-E. D-L-E-B-E. You deliberately search for you deliberately search for putting all the responsibility on your brain. Search for. There's another term which would be good. Okay. Search for. The first system, speaking of the inferior system, is designed to find things you deliberately search for, putting all the responsibility on your brain. Putting all the responsibility. What is responsibility? Search that stroke here. Responsibility. There it is. RSP, and then the disjointed B for ability. So response, all the response, and then disjointed B. The responsibility on your brain. On your brain. On your brain. There we go. The slip box is designed to present you, and so this is the second system, the slip box is designed, oh, nope, and design, he wants it, yeah, the D cannot be, disjointed. It's designed a little bit more fluid. There we go. Is designed to present you with ideas, to present you with ideas you have already forgotten. Whoa, what an idea. You have already forgotten. Wow. Let's see if that was forgot. So there's no ah at the end, it's just FGTN. FGTN, okay. That is Once again, Sonke, I just love you. You're encountering ideas you have already forgotten. It's like meeting old friends. Forgotten. Okay. Allowing your brain. Allowing. Allow. I think, isn't allow just AL? Let's check that. It is. All right. Allowing your brain to focus on thinking instead of remembering. Boom. Final. That was the final sentence of this paragraph. Now we go back and we review this particular paragraph, which starts at the paragraph symbol, which is here. Grab the little marker. So that's the paragraph. There we go. Okay. Here we are. The best advantage? No, the biggest. The biggest advantage KPR, kept compared. Oh, and that should be past tense, compared. There we go. Compared to a standard, no, to a topic, top-down storage system organized by topic. So, ST is that the slip box becomes more and more valuable the more it grows. Instead of getting messy and what is that? KF, confusing, instead of messy and confusing. Instead of getting messy and confusing. This should be a comma, not a period. There we go. Going on. Instead of getting messy and confusing. If you sort by topic, you are faced with the dilemma of either adding more and more notes to one topic, which makes them what is that? NKRS, which makes them increasingly, which makes them increasingly hard to find, or adding more and more topics and subtopics to the to it. Is that correct? That is correct. Okay. Well, it's not as well written of a sentence, but that's okay. As long as I copied it correctly, that's only my job. To it, which only what is that? That is chafe, which only shifts. Oh, that SH is a little too long. I can see that right off. This needs to be much shorter, which only shifts. There we go. The mess to another level, and fees and to another level. Oh, and I forgot to put a period there. Period. The first system is designed, is designed to find, the first system is designed to find things you deliberately search for, putting all the responsibility on your brain. The slip box is designed to present. Yep, present, and I need to put this guy down on a lower level. Is designed to present you. Let me confirm that that is the correct word. Oh, it's even shorter. You don't need the S. You don't need the S. Okay. Better and better. It's just PR. It's designed to present you with ideas you have already. Is that already? Really? Hold on. Yep. Boy, now that it's getting easy, I'm starting to second guess myself. Really? Do I know this? Okay, already forgotten. Already forgotten. Allowing your brain to pursue. Oh, what did I just do? Undo, let's redo. What did I just change? Oh, present. Allowing your brain to focus on thinking instead of remembering. Really important. Allowing your brain to focus on thinking rather than remembering. And that's the key, is to remove the friction. Oh, wow. What an excellent paragraph. Okay. Here we go. Let's continue. Just get a little drink of water. Water. Next paragraph. Even though the slip box being organized bottom up, here we go. Even though, that is though, correct? Yes, good. Even though the slip, sound like a gopher from Winnie the Pooh at that point. Slip. Even though the slip box being organized being organized, even though the slip box being organized bottom up. Is that bottom? I think so. Oh, just make it a little bit. Okay. In order to show the difference, you want to have the TM a little bit more extreme. Bottom up. Does not face the trade-off. Face the trade. Does not face the trade off problem. PRB. Does not face the trade-off problem. I do have off in the system, don't I? I think I added it. Yes. No, it was already there. Good. Oh, I like it when they've already done that. Does not face the trade-off problem between too many or too few topics. Between too many and or too many or too few topics. It too can lose its value. It too can lose. Is that lose? Let's see. Yes, it too can lose its value. What is value? Is it VA value? It too, oh, it's just VL, no VAL. I do seem to like to add that VAL a lot, or the A to the, what was the other one I did? Was it pair? Spare? I forget. But you don't have to do that. So value can lose its value when notes are added, when notes are added to it indiscriminately. Indiscriminately. Oh, okay, let's see. See if that word's in there. I'm sure it is. There it is. Indiscriminate. So we go in crim indiscriminately. There we go. Well, it's not as bad. Indiscriminately. So this is in and curve up, out, over, around, indiscriminately. Okay. Period. Whew. It can only play out its strengths. Speaking of the slip box, it can only play out its strengths. Strength. What is strength? What is strength? There's a philosophical question for you. Strength. STR. It's like truth. Wow, that's interesting. Strength and truth are both really short forms. I like that. Oh, can only play out its strengths when we aim for a critical mass. There, wow, another interesting idea. When we aim for a critical, what was that? Critical. Ah, oh, that's right. It's the disjointed. It's KR, and then the disjointed circle. Critical mass. There we go. Critical mass, and that is underlined to show that it's italicized, okay? And which depends not only on the number of notes, which depends. Now depend is DPND. So that's like difference, but does it just add a D? I mean, I can see it in my head. What I'm going to do is I'm going to write it, and then I'm going to test to see if this is actually depend. I think it is. Well, let's go ahead and see. Depend. Nope, other way around. So it's the depend. Pent is the. That's right, because the important syllable is the first one. Depend. There we go. Depend. So let's put that there. Boom. Boom. Depends. And we do need to curve it out so that we can do the S at the end, which depends not only on the number of notes, not only, oh wait, no, that's not right, is it? Only, there we go. Not only, which depends not only excellent, so I have that in the system. Now, ooh, do I dare have which depends? That depends, which depends. Both of those, yes, I think I'm going to add them. We're going to do which depends and that depends. There we go. I know, oh boy. Would that be too complex though? Depends. I don't think so, because that does contextually, that makes sense. So I'll go ahead and practice that right now. So we have our phrase here, and we have which depends. There we go. Which depends not only on the number of notes, on the I think that's number, right? It goes num. Yes, I think that's number. Let's check. That's right. Which depends on the number of notes, but also their quality. but also their, oh, quality. Oh, I can't remember the term right now. Quality. Oh, that explains it. So that's the, there we go. The quality. What was that message from? Okay, good. All right. The quality. The quality also depends, but also, oh, and isn't but also, didn't I add that to the system? Yes. But also their quality and the way they are handled. And the way they are handled. Okay. Another paragraph down. Did that go faster, or did my perception of time change? I don't know. I couldn't tell. Doesn't matter. Well, it was a shorter one as well, so that helps. Let's go ahead and grab the little marker. Even though the slip box, being, yes, well, that's right. Wow, being organized. Ooh, and so that's incorrect. This needs to be being organized. BTM. Bottom, that's right. Bottom up does not FAS does not face the does not face the trade-off problem between too many or too few topics. It too few or too many topics. It too can lose its value when notes are added to it indiscriminately. That's the end of the sentence. It can only play out its strengths when we aim for a critical mass, which depends not only on the number of notes, but also their quality and the way they are handled. Ho ho ho. Wow. Oh, okay. Wow. Let me check handled one more time. Handle. And that is correct. Oh, that's interesting. In the lineup, the ND is much smaller than the L. Because it's an NT. Yeah, that's right. Okay. All right, let's go ahead and see if we can fix that. Put this here. put that there. The way that they are handled. Okay. Even the slip box, let's see here. To achieve a critical mass. So here's our next paragraph. To achieve a critical mass. To achieve. Achieve. I don't know that word, so let's go ahead and check it. Ah, it's one that I had to add. To achieve a critical mass. It is crucial. Is that crucial or is... Because I know I just did crucial. Didn't I do crucial already? Well, let's check it. Okay, there's crucial, so we have to do the... It's just crucial. It truly is just crucial. Wow. Okay. There's crucial. It is crucial to... And then distinguish. It is crucial to distinguish. That's right. It's the DS and then T. DS. And it's also slightly bent in this direction. To distinguish clearly between, clearly. So we do K, L, E. Oh, and let's see. Oh, this is the one I was talking about where it's clear, clearly. And you just put it on the bottom. It's like really. Clearly. There we go. Shorten up the K. Make a little bit more of a jump. There we go. To distinguish clearly between three types of notes. There we go. Colon. And here's the first one. So this is going to be a paragraph marker. And this is number 1. Underlined. Fleeting notes. So now he's going into more depth of what he had covered earlier. So this is fleeting notes. Fleeting notes. Underline that. Which are only reminders of information. Reminders of information. So this is oh, don't go skimming off. Reminders. I don't think that's reminder. I think they want the ND on this one. Let's see. Let's check and see what reminder. They want the disjointed R. That's what it is. This one has a disjointed R on it. Okay. So let's go ahead and drop that in. Reminder. Yeah, there we go. It's also good if you don't accidentally click on the delete button every single time or the undo button. Reminders. There we go. Which are only reminders of information. Which are only reminders of information. Here we go. Information. I think that's I think that's information. Might have a mesh at the end. Let's see here. Information. Nope, I was right. Information, and it doesn't have to have the extra A vowel in order to make it work. So let's go ahead and do this again. In, for, may, in, for, may, shall. There we go. Fleeting notes, which are only reminders of information, can be written in any kind of way, can be written in any kind of, this is an example where we can put these, can be written, and this has to be curved back in on itself, that's right, can be written in any kind of. So you remember this is of. So this was that we were working on this the other day where you can do kind of, right? Because this is of. So if you do kind of, like that, where you curve back in on itself, and then you curve up, that's kind of. Which, I mean, I guess you could see it. It doesn't really look like a typo. I think it's clear enough. If you curve up, kind of, a slight tail. Yeah, we'll just call it a special. It's a special phrase, which depends, but also there and the way they are handled. Can be written in any kind of way and will end up in the trash within a day or two. And will end up in the trash in a day or two. That's our first type of note. So then our next paragraph is the second type of note. And once again, this is mirrored. So here's our number 2 backwards. And then this one is the permanent note. Permanent note. And permanent, I think it's just PR and then the MN stroke. I'm going to write that and then we'll see if that's correct or not. So this is the permanent. I think that's permanent. And let's see if that's correct or not. Permanent. That's right. Hey! Permanent. Permanent. Permanence, man. Permanence. It's the only way. It's the only way. Okay. So we have permanent. There's our permanent note. P R M N. Come on, let's go. P R M N. Permanent. I can tell my hand is starting to get a little tired. By about the 3rd hour, it really does not like me. It's like, what are you doing to me, man? I thought you were my friend. I've been with you for all these years, and now you're not treating me nice. That's not cool, man. That's not cool. My poor hand. Well, hey, if the rest of me has to work, then the hand has to work too. So let's see, permanent notes. And this also gets italicized, so we do a line underneath, which will never be thrown away. Which will never. So this is which will. And I think, didn't I add which will to the system? If not, I'm going to add it. Yep, I did add it. Good. Which will never be thrown away. There we go. Which will never be thrown away. So we go TH, which will never be thrown away. I think that's just away, right? You don't even have to do a dot at the beginning, right? Oh, they do want a dot. Away. Oh, it makes sense. Which will never be thrown away. And contain the necessary information. So we go and contain the necessary. I think that's it, right? Oh, don't even need an E at the end. That's for necessarily. Should contain the necessary information in a permanently understandable way. In a permanently in a permanently, oh, come on, let's go PRMNE, in a permanently understandable, understand, and then, isn't that a disjointed B? Oh, that's a V, but is it a disjointed B in order to do understandable? Let's check that. Understandable. That's not one of the words. So how are these added? Amiable, capable, usable, curable, disable, durable, estatable, eatable, likable, understandable, movable, understandable. Oh, 10. There we go. Look at that. There's tenable. Tenable right here. That tells me that understandable, because if you see stand and 10 are both the same T and stroke, and the B is added to the T and stroke of tenable, so therefore the B is going to be added to the stroke for understandable. Okay, so let's go ahead and add that here. We go understandable, like that. And I'm going to add that to the lineup. Understandable. Yay! Yay, yay, yay. Okay. And let's go ahead and save this. So I'll have to add that in an understandable way. All right. They are always stored in the same way in the same place. They are, and is that a sentence? Yes. Way. They are always stored in the same way in the same place. In the same way in the same place. Either, there we go, either as literature notes, either as literature notes in the reference system, either as, either as, is that, that's a little clunky. Either as? Yeah, I don't see it that often, so I'm not going to worry about it. Either as literature notes, literature notes in the reference system, in the reference system, or written notes, or written as if for print. In the, or written as if for print. So that's the as if for print in the slip box. Wow, okay, it's like informational stubs. I think I understand it a little bit. Okay. And then the third type of note, and I need to add another page below. And then with this, I'm going to call it, that I'll be done for right now. So once this is done, in the slip box. So this is my third type of note, and these are project notes. Okay? Project notes, which are only relevant to one project. Project is PRJ, isn't it? PRJK. So we have project notes. So this is PRJK. Project notes. And that was underlined because it's in italicized, which are only relevant to one particular project. So this is which are only relevant. Isn't that is it's like that. Relevant. I think it's that. Relevant. Yeah, there we go. Which are relevant to one particular project. To one, and then it's particular project. There we go. So, it's different. It's actually pat. That's how you tell the difference. So it's pat. Like so. Okay, that's particular. Which are relevant to only one particular project. And then they are kept within a project-specific folder. They are kept within a project-specific. There we go. Specificity. Specific folder. That's probably folder. And can be discarded or archived. And can be discard. Okay, let's see here. Discard. Oh, it's not in there. Oh, all right. Well, I'm going to call it there for right now. So I got to head out in just a little bit. So I'm going to pause it for a second, and I should be back hopefully later this afternoon to get some more work done. So it's getting more and more productive. I'm very excited. This is showing promise. So I hope everyone has a wonderful afternoon, a good lunch coming up here, and hope to see you back in a little while. Alrighty. Take care. Adios.